When we're trying to implement something new into our lives, we generally hear that we won't always have the motivation to do it. Some days you're just going to have to make yourself do it, even if you don't want to, because that's the only way you're going to get there, just having the consistency in doing it. But what if that thing you're trying to bring into your life is not a matter of growing a business or gaining a new hobby, and it's a feeling, like a feeling of love, a feeling of self-confidence, a feeling of faith. Those are things that are very easy to feel lack in and are very hard to gain if we're clouded in our emotions. Welcome to the Radiant Sun. My name is Kendra. I'm a spiritual life coach, and I help my clients get through the blocks in their lives to get to their ultimate success. And today we are talking about how to get to the bottom of our suppressed emotions. When we're trying to do something new with our lives, a lot of times we have to kind of force our way through it when we don't really feel like doing it. But when we're trying to bring something into our lives that's more emotional, not exactly physical, like feeling more love, feeling more abundance, feeling more confidence, it's not anything that we can just force our way through and then just arrive at one day. The more and more we chase after that feeling of love, that feeling of abundance, the feeling of acceptance, the more and more we drift away from it. And really, the only way you can bring that into your life is to remind yourself that it comes from you. It comes from within. It's a feeling that we first need to feel ourselves in order to bring it into our lives. If you don't love yourself, love will not find its way to you. There might be fake love, something that, think of it this way. When you start dating somebody and you paint this wonderful picture of how life will be with them and how they'll be treating you and how they are as a person and their humor and just the little things that they do that just makes your world spin round and round. But then a couple weeks or a couple months or a couple years go by and you realize that you haven't been seeing that version of them. It's like you're dating a completely different person, and it's because that person never existed. We made that up because that's what we wanted in our lives, and we were striving for it so hard that we made it up, and we were pretending that this person was going to come into our lives and just make everything perfect. We can't find these feelings in anyone else, in anything else. We need to sit with ourselves and really dig deep and look at the things that we don't want to look at and figure out why we are lacking these feelings. For me, for a little bit, I was lacking a feeling of love, and I kept finding myself in a new relationship, hoping for your typical romance movie, and it just doesn't happen. And it wasn't until I sat with my emotions and I realized that I'm striving for love so much because I've never had a healthy relationship. I've never had that genuine connection. But where have I felt love before? I feel love with my kids every day. I'm at a place in my life where I can look in the mirror and I can feel love for myself. I feel love when I'm in nature. But why are there some days when I don't feel love at all? What is that block? The hardest thing to do is to sit down, make ourselves sit down and look at what we don't want to look at. Why do we feel as though we're lacking this feeling within ourselves, but it's so easy to find anywhere else? What is that block? Is it something that we have suppressed? Is it something that we made up to get by? Does it root to our childhood? Is it caused by a previous relationship? Is that relationship with ourselves? Can you look in the mirror and find love? Can you look in the mirror and find confidence? Can you look at your life and see abundance everywhere? If the answer is no, then I highly suggest inner work, shadow work. For me, somatic breath work has been extremely helpful. It is super powerful, and if you are interested in that, there are some precautions to take. If you are prone to having seizures, if you have epilepsy, if you're pregnant, I would recommend maybe consulting a doctor. And if they do allow you to do it, take it very easy, go very light. The somatic breath work is a lot of over and over and over again. You try to keep the same pace throughout the whole thing. The ceremonies that I do it with Victor Odo and his wife Patty. It's a very, very beautiful ceremony that they put on. I haven't done one in person. That is, I would say if it's your first time, that might be better. Just because they have people going around to make sure that you're okay. Because a lot of times it's easy to tense up instead of relax, and you do what they call the claw. So your hands end up doing this, and you don't feel relaxed at all. It's a struggle, and you're like, what the heck is happening to me? Oh my God. And they go around and remind you, go at your own pace. If it's doing that, you need to remember to relax and just be in the moment. Another thing with somatic breath work is that you should only be doing it 2, maybe 3 times a year, because it is that powerful. It is that transformative. And some people, the results vary from person to person, as would anything else. Some people, like myself, cry their whole way through it. It just stirs up a lot of emotions for me, and I let it all out. You really dig down to where everything is stemming from, and other people, it ends up stirring up some suppressed rage and anger. So when they get out of this breath work, they're just irritated and pissy, and they don't want anything to do with anybody, and they just need to sit with that. Other people, they get to the end and they're like, wait, you people are talking to your dead grandmother? What? Did I do this right? It's okay. It's different for everybody, and if you don't really notice anything spectacular happening, it might just not be the time for you, it might not be the thing for you. And the way to know is by listening to our bodies. So the one I did today was actually a replay from the class that I had. And I knew it was time to go back to that replay and make myself lay down and do this breath work, because I could just feel that my body was not carrying on its daily tasks as it should. As I wasn't feeling that same level of happiness that I was a week ago or a month ago. So you will know when it's time to do it. You will know if it's too much. You will know if it's not for you. And it's okay. And it's just one example of the many ways that we can really go within and get to the root of our suppressed emotions and why we're feeling the way we're feeling every day. Other examples would include meditations, going out in nature, or just being alone in silence for a little bit. Journaling, maybe. Some people just need a nap. But no matter which route you take, it all comes down to going within, to slowing your mind down, to let go of the thoughts, to be present in the moment. And I read this message the other day that said that you should go out into nature for 20 minutes every day. And if you're busy, then you should go out in nature for an hour. And that is insanely accurate, because when we are busy, our minds get easily clouded. they start racing. We don't know left from right. We end up forgetting things. We get clumsy, forgetful, and it's all that more important to make ourselves sit with our thoughts, with ourselves, with nature for even longer, and really make ourselves slow down. So a lot of times when we're striving for greatness, we're striving for all these great feelings coming into our lives, we're striving for the success in our businesses, in our hobbies, in our relationships, most of the time you will get there by slowing down. Some days with trying to get through a rough day at work or a rough day at home or just a rough task in general and you don't feel motivated, you do have to just force your way through it sometimes and you'll get there. But when it's a consistent feeling of just being bogged down and you're just waiting for it to let up and waiting and it's just not happening, that's when you need to slow down. You need to listen to your body, listen to the signs that are coming your way. If you're working on your computer when you should be sleeping and then the whole system crashes, that's a sign to go to bed. If you're racing to get from one destination to another and you're driving around town like a madman and then you get a flat tire, your battery goes, that's a sign to slow down. And it doesn't have to be something great like that that's obvious. It could be that you're racing around the house trying to get everything done before the kids get home from school and it just blows up again. But you're running around, you're so fast-paced, and then you stub your toe. Ow! Again, it means slow down. So even the little things that happen that we see as an inconvenience could be a blessing in disguise, telling us to slow down. It's okay. And remember, time is an illusion. Why are we racing to do things? The more we race, the more we mess up. The more we speed to get somewhere, the more likely we are to cause an accident. And actually, there was a study done, I heard this a couple years ago, I forget which university did it, but they did a study on speeding and how much time it actually takes off of your trip. And it's only like 2 minutes, maybe 5 minutes it takes off your trip unless you're going like 1,000,000 miles an hour. But is 5 minutes off your trip really worth it? Are the people waiting for you to get to wherever you're going gonna notice a 5-minute difference? Probably not. Our ego thinks that we need to race around and go lightning speed to get everything done, because if we don't, then we fail, and we put all this pressure on ourselves, and it's for no reason. And sometimes we need to look at our to-do list and check off the things that are of high importance. Do those first, leisurely. Look at the things that are okay if they don't get done. Like, say you need to clean your floors. They might be filthy. There could be mud everywhere. If you don't get to it, the mud will dry, it'll turn to dirt. You sweep it up, put it in the trash. You still have a floor. You can still walk on it. Might not be clean, but the important things will be done. You'll have more sanity. You'll be able to breathe. And then the next day, maybe it'll be a little easier to do the floors. Because you need to really look at the bigger picture. What's more important? Doing our floors today rather than tomorrow, or taking a breather for a second and implementing self-care? Because the more and more and more time that goes by that we don't incorporate self-care into our daily tasks, the more and more all of these emotions are going to be suppressed. The more and more we're going to pile onto ourselves. The more and more unhappy we'll feel. And it becomes very easy for all of those mixed up emotions to be projected onto those that we love. I know I'm guilty of that. I'll admit it. I'm not perfect by any means. But over time, I have come to realize how important self-care really is. And actually, at my old 9 to 5, there were a few nights I would go to bed and I just wouldn't feel like myself. And I would wake up in the morning and I would just still feel empty. And I would call into work and I'd call out sick. They don't need an explanation. And, you know, I wouldn't stay home. I wouldn't go to work. There was one day I drove an hour away. I rented a kayak and I was out on that water all day long. No one but me. I was exploring some islands. I found a nice rock to set up lunch. And it was exactly what I needed. There was another time I went on a trail by a pond. And I ate lunch in the woods. And I just sat in silence. And I took in the beauty of nature. It's okay to take time for ourselves. Because what are we living life for? It's not for everyone else. It's for us. So if you're feeling off, it's up to you to recognize that and to take the appropriate actions to love yourself. Even if you aren't feeling that love, even if you can't look in the mirror and say that you love your life or you love you, take more time for you. Be alone with you. There were plenty of times that I wanted to take the day off and invite someone to go with me. But even though I wanted to so badly, I didn't, because I knew I needed to be by myself, with myself, for myself. The more time you spend with yourself doing things that make you happy, the more that love for yourself will grow. I promise you that. Don't do something because you think that it'll make somebody else happier. Because you think that someone will look at you and think better of you. What people think of you is none of your business. What you think of you means everything. I know this is a constant struggle. We're always going to have those days where we feel bogged down, but just remember to take the time for yourself. Love yourself. Don't go chasing for these feelings in anyone else or in anything else. You hold all the answers you seek. So although these moments in our lives can be very, very challenging, I hope that this video will help alleviate some of that difficulty in the future. I hope that you can look back and remember, oh yeah, I just need to love myself. I need to take the time for myself. And sometimes we'll take the whole day to ourselves. We won't even do anything. And then we'll feel lazy or unproductive. It's okay to not do anything for one day. Take a breather. You deserve it. Alright? Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.